Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities and Miniatures, and it's time to start digging into our gambler's chest. And I'll be honest with you, the first thing I wanted to find out was what kind of mystery surprise Mr. Poots had put in the box this time. So, without further ado, and I tried to keep this as spoiler-free as possible, so if you stumble upon this video, we made sure to at least get a clear thumbnail, and I'm not going to distinguish or name it in the comments or description, so watch at your own risk. This is our mystery model. Now, this part of its base and this part of its tunic, along with the tongs, were a dead giveaway, as well as that hammer. This is none other than the Champion Weaponsmith. The Champion Weaponsmith is an older model. It was originally a resin kit, real resin, not photo resin, and it was surprisingly one of the few that I do not own anymore. I did have her at one point, traded her off for something or other, which I cannot recall, so it is kind of cool to have her back. And in the meantime, she has found a pair of pants. One of the neat things about the original was, I want to say there were some variations on the apron that she had on, and she was wearing some little booty short, typical Kingdom Death style clothing. So it is nice to see she has graduated to wearing actual clothes. But then again, for the most part, our Kingdom Death survivors that have been done in plastic do tend to be a lot more conservatively dressed than the pinup survivor stuff that we find in the photo resin or traditional resin releases. So it is also nice to see she has a custom base included. Can't remember if the original had one, but otherwise, it looks pretty similar to the original release. I'm going to go ahead and get her put together, and we will see what else we can compare it to. So, sit tight. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the not-so-secret Champion Weaponsmith in all her plastic glory. So, like I said, I can't recall ever building the original, but as I did mention, she's got some pants, and considering she is a blacksmith, that's probably a good idea. Her hand, her right hand, well, let's talk about that. Construction-wise, everything was pretty simple, pretty straightforward, but the contact point, and this seems to be an issue I am facing with a lot of the stuff actually in the gambler's chest, is very little contact points. There's a slight notch in her arm there that is going to have the hand attached. I would strongly recommend gluing this together prior to actually gluing the arm on. I made that mistake. I needed to use some stronger glue. And same thing with her left hand. I'm not 100% sure that's where the tongs are actually supposed to be positioned. In fact, I'm not sure about either hand actually holding the items correctly, as sad as that may be. It's pretty intuitive where everything is going to go, and there's not that many pieces. Base as well, everything is pretty straightforward. It is nice looking. I do like it quite a bit, and you can see I need to clean up some of the sprue scars that I did not get very well taken care of there. But overall, simple build, and I think she's going to fit in quite nice with all the other stuff available. And I mean, the more I pour over the piles and piles of cards and start trying to read through the new book, I am greatly intrigued with getting the game back on the table, and it takes a lot, and I mean a lot, for me to actually want to sit down and play a game of any sort. So the fact that I'm like, chomping on the bit to get Kingdom Death back on the table as soon as possible, I would say is like one of my utmost highest recommendations. So kudos to Mr. Poots in that regard. Grabbing a couple other models just to give you guys a good idea of how tall she is, because that's a big issue with me. We've discussed many times over with the Kingdom Death stuff the scale creep that we've seen over the years. So here you can see our original survivor, Lucy, painted up many years ago. I'd like to think I've gotten a little bit better. That's entirely debatable. Now, a big brawny weaponsmith, I would imagine, is going to be a good head or two taller. Grabbing pumped and powered Lucy 10 years later, you can see they're pretty comparable in size. If you haven't seen the 10th Anniversary Survivors, I don't know if they're going to be available anytime soon, but it's a really cool kit. Do track it down. I'm just grabbing plastic figures as well right now. None of the weird esoteric resin, photo resin, exclusive stuff. Well, okay, maybe one exclusive. I really like the Neko Maid Adventurer. She was a Black Friday exclusive a while back. If you like that pose, there's the similar Oktoberfest Aya. Obviously going to be available in October, but quite different. And this one's actually kind of modular in what you can find her with. One of my favorites, another well-dressed and well-equipped woman, the Paladin from Echoes of Death 3? 3 sounds right, because 2 had the Gladiator. I guess those are getting hard to find now, which is a shame, because all 3 Echoes of Death boxes I think are really cool. I'm grabbing another Lucy, because why not? So you can see, scale-wise, I think she's going to fit in great with a lot of the pre-existing models, and just because I have a few newer models waiting to have something done with them. Was this the Death Crown Inheritor Aya, I believe? And what was it, the Lunar Twilight Night or something? Lunar Festival Twilight Night. This one I was a bit bummed out about. I really like her sculpt, but I was a bit cheesed over the fact that the 54mm version of her is exactly the same, whereas just about every single other big painter scale pinup model has always been something totally different. Like the Aya one is vastly different with her weird Elden Ring fingers. And if you want to see something really interesting, I've started to build up some of the new armor kits, of which I should have a video on forthcoming. So if you want to see that, do keep an eye on the channel. I don't like doing the whole smash that button to subscribe, but you know, I mean, I do post this stuff quite regularly. And I gotta say, I'm enjoying these new armor sets, but they're different. They're good, but they're different. And I'll let you interpret that as you may, but I'll get into that on another day. So I'd say if you like this specific model, I mean, obviously you're going to know what to look for now. If you've watched this far into the video, at least. I would not search secret model on eBay or any of the, you know, third-party places, but I can pretty much guarantee that people are going to be parting out these sets with all their righteous indignation over the fact that it took forever for this stuff to get out. But yet, here it is. It's here. It exists. I've been building it. Let that be a testament to that fact. I don't have another guy. Let's get one of the ladies. I am seriously going to get more of those death armors. If you guys have any you don't want, give them to me. I will happily take them off your hands. That's a great set. But anyway, yeah. So that is the mystery model. Hopefully you've been adequately spoiled in that regard, and you know what to look for if you are just after those in particulars. So, whether or not this actually gets sold by itself, I have no idea, because I know Poots has rambled on about wanting to keep these figures all in the box, and there's certain reasons for that if you are getting the Gambler's Chest, and I'll just leave it at that. There are reasons why these characters are in the box now. We'll leave it at that. But yeah, I'd say you have a good chance of finding these if you want on the aftermarket. So keep your eyes peeled. Hopefully, with the amount of boxes out there, you'll be able to get it for a good price, because I know I'm going to be keeping my eyes peeled too. So with that said, then, this has been High Lord Tamberlane with Obscurities and Miniatures, saying thanks for watching, and we'll see you back here soon. Bye-bye.